everybody, and welcome to Frankie Upcycles. I'm Frankie. In my last video, before I start on my project for today, is I was making some of these bibs for adults. So for the nursing home. And I made these and I was, trial and error. You figure out what works and what don't. Well, instead of trying to make that the same on both sides, I just decided I could make more if I just used the one side. And then I also thought they don't need the pocket down here because if you're eating, it's going to go down in the pocket. And one more thing, this one right here don't button in the back, so you have to lift it off through your head. That's a terrible design because if you got food down through here, especially in that pocket, when you pull it up, it's going to go in your hair or your head. So scratch that. But I did learn from it. So I'm going to show you the ones that I did. Here are some for the women. So now this was a bed sheet too, and that was the ruffle was already on it. And then the back side right here, I just put me a little button right there and put me a little piece of material and for the buttonhole. So there's one. And then I tried to make them a little bit different. This right here says, "How does your garden grow?" And I thought that was cute. So I put a little something something on there. This one I just added a little heart to, same material. Now this material only cost me $1, and this material was only cost me $1. So for those $2, and I already had the buttons. I do. I got tons of buttons. I made a lot of these for the nursing home. So here's another one. Got a little flower on that, and on the backs of them, I did them all with the button. And here's another one. I just cut out and put that on. Now here's the ones for the men. Now there's one. It's got a pocket. Might have put that pocket up too far, but it's just for looks. This one is just plain. This one's got a bow tie on it. I just cut one out to resemble a bow tie. This one, the boss. This one, and I shouldn't have done it, but I did, and I don't know if I should take it down there. It says Happy Camper, and I don't know anybody that's in nursing homes Happy Camper. But anyway, it's on there. They don't have to put it on them, or they might somebody that is a Happy Camper. I don't know. And the last one is this one, and I just put that flag on it. That's the one I cut out of that garden flag that time. So there's those. But today I am going to make something different. Let me show you what it is. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I have this walker right here. Now that's my walker, and the reason I have it is because my husband, he had double knee surgery several years ago, 2012, something like that. Anyway, that's why I have this. So I'm going to make out of these jeans right here, and I'll tell you what size they are in a minute. And I'm hoping to use this. I'm going to make two. One for a woman's walker and one for a man's walker. And if they turned out good, I may, do several of those too to go along with these. I'm going to go ahead and take them to the nursing home though. And then if I come across some more jeans and stuff, I can make more. So let me show you what my plan is. Okay, these pants is what I'm going to use. They're the same kind of leg all the way down, which gives you a lot more material to work with. These pants come from the Old Navy, and I got them at a yard sale for $1, and they are 42 by 32. So anyway, that's what I'm going to use today, and I'm going to start by cutting these legs off right here and sewing them together first. So we're going to work on the woman's first. But I think what I'm going to have to do is go, I just got out of church, and I think I'm going to have to go take these earrings and this necklace off because it's making too much noise. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these pants off right here. Now I've already made a mark across there. So, but I think I just cut one leg at a time because it's pretty thick. So I'm going to get these pants cut off first. Okay, so I got those cut off, and there's my hot pants. I'm going to open them up through the seams so I can spread the material out. Okay, now what I'm fixing to do is cut off all these big thick seams because I do not want to sew over the top of any of those and break a needle on my machine. So I'm going to cut all these big hunky pieces off. Okay, so I've got that cut off and I've matched them up But as you know, it's bigger way up here. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to cut this in two so they'll lay flat. Let's see, let me just cut it right here. Till I think it's going to, right about, maybe there. Okay. So that, I can get this much more material out of it. So, see how it's laying flat? So I'm going to sew those down. All right, I got one pinned, but it's not sewed. And so I've cut this one, but I think I need to cut it a little bit more on up to where it starts curving. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is just take it to my machine. I'm going to fold this one under and smooth it out. And then I'm going to sew that down. All right, so here's what it looks like, on the other side. So I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to cut it off on both sides. I don't need it. That's good enough. Now what I'm going to do is take it, line it up, fold it down. Okay, and so now I know I need to take off this much on this side. Let me see it. Take that off and take this off, and we're going to square it up. Okay, now that I've got them all squared up, what I'm fixing to do is just sew me a seam right down through here first, so that way I can open it up and decide when I fold it up where the fold's gonna be, and then I'll make me some little designs on here, or little appliques, or maybe some pockets on the side. But first I'm just gonna sew one side up first. Okay, so I've got that done, and I probably should have cut that seam out too and then sewed them together, which would have not been so bulky, but it went through my serger okay. But I don't like going across something that thick. So if you make one, it'd probably be your best bet to take that big rugged edge out too, like I did the rest of them. But anyway, here we go. So I've got it folded over, and so now I know that, let me straighten it up. Now I know that when I flip it up this way, right here, like this right here, this part will be hanging from the, let me get it and show it to you. A little cockeyed. Okay. Now, okay, so here we are. There's that long piece. This is going to be up here. Let me get the rest of it. And then put it up here. So it's going to be up here, like this. Well, what I need to do is find where I want to put my tie. So one of them should be up here, one of them should be middle ways, and I can tie it to here. And so this one is the same way. So then what I'm going to do is run me a seam, and they'll have two pockets on this side, and maybe one open pocket right here. Okay, so I've got this out of my scrap pile, and it already has a hem at the top. And so what I think I'm going to do is just fold these together. Of course, well, they'll look like this when I'm done. And I'm just going to put me one little pocket on the front of here. Now, mind you, I'm going to sew one right through here too. So this one and this one will be a pocket in there as well. So, how I am about pockets, love pockets. And I got enough to do the others. Okay, I'll just make a match. So I'll do that to the front. Okay, I've got them sewed up. Just going to flip them inside out. Okay, I forgot to sew the bottom. Let me go back and sew the bottom of this one. I got in a hurry. Be right back. Okay, now I've got the bottom of that one sewn. Okay, so anyway, let me turn them. It's getting fast. I thought, man, this project's going fast. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to press them down. Here's this one. I'm going to press them down. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the middle, and I think it'd be right about here. After I press them, I'm going to put them on right here. Just sew the three corners around, and then there'll be two pockets for the front. Okay, I'm fixing to go to my machine. I got them pinned on right where I want them. And I just wanted to say, you know, I could edit all these bloopers and mistakes and stuff, but I'm human. I do make mistakes, and, you know, what you see is what you get. So this is real timing. Okay, so we're looking like this right now. And now I'm fixing to serge these two sides right here, straight across. And then I'm going to give it a little hem. And then this right here, on both sides of here, when I sew it, she'll have two more pockets. So there'll be two pockets up here. 1, 2, 1, 2. I went ahead and I sewed across through here. But this little hump and this little hump, for my machine's sake, I didn't want to sew over it. So I went to here, I backstitched, I put my machine over here, my thread, my needle, backstitched, and then kept going. So I did that on both sides. So, like I said, when I got to here, backstitch, backstitch, and kept going. So, that's what I did, because I didn't want to break a needle. All right, we're going to have to do some ties on both sides. And so, here's my jug of strings. I keep everything I cut off, because, you know, just like these, I cut these off. I'm going to keep those. This was on the top of a bed sheet. I cut it off. It's the hem already. I'm going to keep that. So now it's coming in handy. So I'm going to use this, and I am going to put me a tie up here and a tie like in the middle on both sides, so I can tie it to the handles and the legs to keep it on. I was digging some more in my jar, and I found these. They were sitting right here. I'm going to use these. They're thinner, and I think I'll be able to put a bow in those instead of this. So I'm going to use these. Okay, so I've got them pinned right here on the inside. Then I'm going to lay this piece over the top of it, and then I'm going to sew these side seams, and then when I open it back up, I'll have these. So let me get those sewed on. All right, got it sewed. Going to turn it inside out. Got my strings on to tie them with. Okay, so now what I got to do, before I sew the back to the front, I want to go down both sides right here to right about the pockets, so I could see where I'm sewing. I went ahead and marked it. So these white lines right here is where I'll be sewing. Okay, so here's where we are right now. And I have got these sewed on both sides. Now I have to cut them when I get ready to tie them. But now what I'm going to do, since I've got it folded up, I got these on my pockets, I'm going to do a stitch and go all the way to right about here and stop right here. All the way right through here, and I'm going to stop right there. And that way, they'll have, you know, you can put like your well, I don't know, people get the newspaper anymore, I don't know. But anyway, I was going to leave this section right here for, you know, that might be their hideaway. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just sewing from the ties up. Okay, I'm going to cut these so I can tie it. And you got to remember, all these walkers are different. All right, I've got it tied on. So, like I said, some of these are made a little bit different, so all depend on how they're made. So I've got the pocket right here, right here, right here, right here, and this right here is the large pocket. And then, of course, down through here is open for whatever you want to hide in there. I don't know, you might want to put your house shoes in there. That's a good idea. Stick your house shoes in there. So anyway, this one is for the girl. Now, I could have made it a little more frilly, I guess, but, you know, this is, get the strings off there. I thought about putting some lace up through here, but anyway, that's this one. Let's work on the man. All right, so here's the man's. It ought to be pretty simple because I'm not putting no pockets on that one. I am just going to, let me cut this stuff off. All right, I'm gonna even it up here, and then I'm fixing to cut it like I did the other one. Make that lay flat. So I'm going to make that lay flat. I'm going to sew it together first, and then I'll be right back at you. Okay, so I've sewed these across the bottom, and then I just sewed that tip off, and that makes that square bottom like that. So now I'm fixing to put me a rubber band ponytail holder right here. I'm going to tack it on right quick. And then when I go to this side right here, I can wrap it around here and that'll hold it together on the walker. Okay, see, I just tacked that on the underside of it. Actually, I pulled it through and tied it and then went across the top right here. And so now when I put it on the walker, I can put it across this right here and it'll stay shut. You know, the blue jean stuff is really heavy and it's hard on your machine. So this is what I cut off, you know, of wherever I cut it off at on these jeans. I'm going to take these two pieces. I'm going to run one of them through this belt loop and tie a knot. And then run it through this belt loop. And I'm going to tie a knot. Now that's going to give me the strings that I need to put it on the walker. So let's do that. Okay, so here it is. And so he's got his front pockets for, you know, I don't know what you carry. I don't know what men carry in a nursing home, but anyway. I know what women carry in a nursing home and they need lots of pockets. Anyway, here's these pockets for the front. And that's that little tie that I put on that after whatever you got in here, you can tie it off with that. I may make that a little tighter. And then, of course, he's got the back two pockets. This pocket, those two pockets. Anyway, I just thought that was a nifty little idea. Men need one too, you know. They got to carry their little handkerchiefs and stuff around too. But anyway, these are was just $1, and so I made two out of that, a woman's and a man's. And well, $2 for the bibs. So, you know, using scraps and stuff, you can do a whole lot. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get these down to the nursing home, and you know, just like those bibs, wherever I put them, there they are behind that door. Anyway, I got to get them down to the nursing home. But I learned some stuff as I went with these right here, what to do first and what to do second, and you know, and to sew up the bottom of your pocket. But anyway, that's what I did, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Like I said, that's just a little community service, and when I make some more, then I got them in my mind, how I made them and how to do them better. So until next time, God bless you, God bless your family. Y'all take care.